Roman, I would like to ask you about our school in Bethany, and generally my impression from my visit to Holy Land in 1998 was that actually there are front lines of the spiritual front lines of our church, because people, they really struggle ascetically, and very strong, serious impression from what I saw about monastics there. And Bethany School is unique because it's one of the few places, it might be the only place, where we look after young the children and try to help them. And it's kind of social work that I think generally we are lacking. So can you explain to us what's happening there, please?
In Bethany, which is situated on the other side, the far side of the Mount of Olives, is by tradition the place where Lazarus was resurrected. There was the house of Lazarus, of which Christ would visit. That was his close friend, and that's where he would rest. And we, the Russian Church, the Russian Ecclesiastical mission, in the beginning of the 20th century, purchased a plot of land, of which then they found was pretty much the place where Christ was greeted by Martha and Mary on his way to raising Lazarus. There was found on that property a 5th century stone which says that this is the place where Christ first taught about the resurrection. In 75 years ago, the abbess, or the head of the was the skit of the Holy Resurrection, Община Воскресения Христова, which now has moved to Gethsemane and is now the Sisterhood of St. Mary Magdalene, opened a school for Arab children, for Arab girls, and they wanted to accept about 15 students. This was opened by Mother Mary, who was the abbess at the time, and she was also a convert to Orthodoxy. She was from Scotland. She was an Anglican missionary that was going to India to work with hospitals in India, and she and her friend stopped in Gethsemane, and they were allowed by Metropolitan Anastasi to live there in one of the houses. And soon they didn't know anything about Orthodoxy. The only thing that they kind of heard or remembered was something about the great Grand Duchess Elizaveta Fyodorovna. And then they found out that this is where she's buried. And they saw this as a sign. And soon they became Orthodox. And Vladika Anastasi baptized them and also tonsured them to monastics. But anyway, Mother Mary, began the school in Bethany, and the school opened leaps and bounds. It was first 15 students, and then there were 30 students and more. And this is the way it was since Bethany, or Azaria, it's called there, was a Christian town, was a Christian city. But unfortunately, with the political situation as it is, now less than 10% of the population is Christian. So the school, unfortunately, has changed. We began, it was supposed to be limited, but we began to accept Muslim students, and we now have a school of 425 students, of which the majority is Muslim. And of course, that's difficult. And the small group of Christian students live at the convent, at the school, and we take care of these children. Most of these children come from very difficult family
It's
situations.
kind of like boarding school, right?
It's a boarding school, yeah. But they come from very difficult familial situations. Either the parents are drug addicts or something. Not all, but some. And we take completely their education.
Need to be sheltered.
And we take care of them. We have several nuns living at the convent and other people that help with them. But it's a very difficult podvig, struggle for a monastic to look after children. You really need to be that cut out for that. It's a very difficult situation, but they do it. They look after the children that are from 6 years old to 16-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
The population around the convent, which is of course walled in, is not always friendly with Muslims around, but we do survive, and Sister Martha, who is the head of the school, the headmistress of the school, and the overseer of the convent, though it's under the guidance of the abbess of the Gethsemane convent, Mother Elizabeth, though she lives there and daily runs the school, this large school, and also the few nuns that are there, and also the boarding school with the children.
Basically, there is no protection, kind of. She cannot really sort of rely on police if anything happens.
Well, there is no police there. This is a Section C area in Palestine, where it's a Palestinian city and supposedly under Palestinian control, but the police is Israeli. And it's not police, it's the military. So if there's any sort of problems, they send in the military, and it's usually very heavy-handed. But the city itself is pretty much like the Wild West. There's really no law there, and it's a matter of who you know and who you can pay. It's a very difficult situation, but that's a reality.
And I understand that Mother Martha was able to master Arabic, and
she speaks Arabic, she speaks English, she speaks Russian, she speaks German.
Right.
So she's very energetic, and again, it's a very difficult situation, and really a point is that we need funding for the school, funding for the internat, for the boarding school, for the convent.
If people would like, and I hope they will, to support you, what would be the way to contribute? Should they send? I mean, will you be able to provide like address that I can post?
Sure. Yes,
you
can send things directly to the convent.
In any currency,
and you could.
Like American checks, people can send American checks.
Well, that's a problem with American checks, but we will accept them.
Yeah.
But we have to send them back to America and have them cashed.
I understand.
But we deal with that.
Okay, that's very important. Yes, but also previously, I think you mentioned that people could come and help there. Like even some people decide to spend a year, right?
We would be very happy with volunteers.
Uh-huh.
We have young people coming, college students that want to take a year off and do something.
I see, yeah.
They come either for 3 months or half a year or even a year, where they can help with the children. They could teach at the school, or they can teach English or something, or Russian.
Yeah.
So that's always also a great help, volunteers.
Yeah, it's still kind of more or less sort of like, I think was modeled after an English school, basically. Mm-hmm. Curriculum is kind of classical, more.
Well, yes, we try though.
I mean, old-fashioned, basically, of old-fashioned school.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Atец Roman. I hope people would support you as much as you deserve, and Bethany School, which is really unique. I hope Mother Martha will be able to continue what she does. Thank you so much.